We're counting down the 6 most disturbing kills and near-fatal moments from Rambo: First Blood. From humiliating assaults and brutal man-versus-nature encounters to the single on-screen death that stunned audiences, these scenes didn't just push the boundaries of 1980s action, they left viewers with images they'd never forget. Some are shocking for their raw violence, others for the psychological wounds they inflict, but none are as haunting as what's coming up later in this ranking. But first, let's kick things off with a savage burst of brutality that set the tone for Rambo's rampage: the police station beating and escape. Rambo's ordeal starts not with gunfire, but with humiliation, stripped, hosed down, and strung up by his arms, while deputies jeer and threaten him with a straight razor. The camera lingers on sweat and bruises, the air thick with the sound of boots and nervous laughter. No blood is spilled, but the cruelty is relentless, pushing Rambo's mind back to jungle captivity. Stallone's performance turns every flinch and flashback into a warning shot. This is the moment the war comes home. The sequence rattled censors, flagged for its psychological intensity rather than gore. Actors left the set bruised, the realism too raw to fake. It's not a kill, but it's the death of restraint, and it sets the stage for everything that follows. Number 5. The Pig Hunt Survival Kill. Rambo's shift from hunted man to primal survivor comes into focus the moment he stalks a wild boar in the forest. There's no drawn-out fight, just guttural squeals, a flash of his survival knife, and the unmistakable sound of flesh meeting steel. The camera never lingers on the animal, but the violence lands through sound design, amplified squealing, wet thuds, and Rambo's own animal grunts. No real pig was harmed. The production used a trained animal, practical blood effects, and layered audio to sell the brutality. Still, the implication is enough to unsettle. It's a kill that feels raw and necessary, bridging Rambo's institutional humiliation with the savage demands of the wilderness. For audiences, the off-screen violence is almost worse than seeing it, suggesting that, out here, survival means embracing instincts most men would rather forget. Number 4. The Field Suturing Scene. After plunging through tree branches and tearing open his arm, Rambo finds shelter and calmly pulls out his survival knife. What follows isn't a kill, but it's just as hard to watch. He threads a blunt needle, pushes it through latex prosthetic flesh packed with fake blood, and drags the thread through in real time. The camera refuses to cut away, locking viewers into every wince and ragged breath. There's no music, just the wet, sticky sound of needle meeting flesh and Stallone's steady breathing. Special effects crews rigged a 2-piece latex sheath and tubing for the blood, but the illusion is so convincing that rumors spread Stallone actually stitched himself. It's the kind of moment that makes grown men squirm. A brutal reminder that survival sometimes means turning violence inward, and that pain isn't always something you inflict on someone else. Number 3. The forest booby traps and maimings. Rambo's escape turns from survival to all-out guerrilla warfare the moment the deputies follow him into the woods. The traps hit fast and brutal. A wire yanks one cop's throat against a tree, another takes a knife straight to the thigh, and a third has his arm snapped by a falling branch. None of these are clean kills, but the pain is unmistakable. The props team used softwood stakes and rubber blades, but the actors' screams and frantic editing make every injury feel fatal. Sound design does the heavy lifting, snapping wires, panicked shouts, and the sickening thud of flesh on wood. There's even a friendly fire mishap as chaos takes over, driving home just how quickly control can slip away. More than any single shot, it's the pileup of agony and confusion that sticks with you, setting the stage for the film's next near-death spiral. Number 2. The Cave Burial by Rocket Blast. The tension in First Blood hits a suffocating peak when the National Guard fires a rocket straight into the mine where Rambo is hiding. There's no gunshot, no scream, just a sudden roar as the practical set collapses in a storm of dust and flying debris, swallowing Rambo whole. The camera lingers on the swirling smoke, then drops into near silence. For a moment, it feels like the film itself has stopped breathing. The mine's facade, built on a soundstage, was rigged with remote squibs and breakaway panels to create a collapse that looked deadly from every angle. Stallone and his stunt double were kept behind layers of foam and wood, but the illusion is total. Rocks crash down, dust fills the frame, and the world outside believes Rambo is dead. Sound design does the heavy lifting. After the explosion, the audio drops out, leaving only the rasp of Rambo's breath and the settling of rubble. It's not a kill in the usual sense, but the psychological effect is crushing. For the audience, this is the moment hope gets buried alive. Every second inside that tomb feels like a death sentence, and the film never lets you forget it. And finally, in first place, the helicopter cliff death that defines First Blood's most disturbing moment. Deputy Galt, perched on the Bell 206 Jet Ranger, leans out to shoot Rambo pinned to the rocks below. Rambo hurls a rock, shattering the windshield. The helicopter bucks, Galt loses his footing, and in a split second he's gone, plummeting to the riverbed in a brutal, unflinching fall. There's no slow motion, no dramatic music, just the sickening sound of impact and a moment of silence that hangs over the scene. Stuntman Buddy Joe Hooker, harnessed and airbag protected, performed the fall in just 2 takes, risking real injury for a shot that would haunt audiences. The editing keeps Galt's death ambiguous: accident, consequence, or the cost of pushing a man too far. It's the film's only explicit fatality, and the psychological weight lands hard. For older viewers, it's not just the violence. It's the sense that anyone can become a casualty, even by accident, when lines get crossed. From the police station beating that triggered Rambo's spiral to the brutal helicopter cliff death, at the top of our list, First Blood's most disturbing kills covered a surprising range. From psychological torment to explicit on-screen fatality. What stands out across all 6 entries is how rarely the film relies on gore. Instead, the tension comes from the raw, survival-driven choices Rambo is forced to make. Several of the most unsettling moments, like the pig hunt and field suturing, aren't even about killing others. They're about the violence he endures and inflicts on himself. Yet, it's the lone accidental death of Deputy Galt that lands at number 1, underscoring the film's core message. Violence here is messy, often unintended, and always has consequences. This ranking shows that in First Blood, what disturbs most isn't the body count, but the relentless escalation from humiliation to primal survival. Ultimately, these scenes remind us that the most haunting violence on screen often comes from the psychological toll, not just the physical acts themselves.